Want to be happy? Build a life, not just a business. Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You've got Michael Jordan level talent at something. So today, let's live your best belief life and get some insane motivation from Bishop T.D. Jakes. Enjoy.
I'm afraid that too many times we have put so much focus on teaching you to be good seed that we haven't taught you the power of good soil. And so when we come to soil issues, the seed ignores the soil. We flick the channel. That has nothing to do with me. We close our eyes because we have been taught to be good seed, but we have not been taught to pay attention to soil. And yet the Bible is clear. Jesus says the sower went forth sowing seed. And some fell by the wayside. Some fell amongst rocks, some fell amongst thorns. The whole text is about environment. Look at you. And look at your environment. Have you been positioned to flourish? Positioning has a lot to do with flourishing. To be in an environment, in a family that supports you. My sister and I were talking the other day. I was telling her what an amazing person she is, that all of our lives together and all the things that God did in my life, not once in all of the years that I've known her, and she was there when Mama had me, have I ever known her to be jealous of me. Not once, not ever. She has always been my cheerleader and my greatest fan. And she said, how could I be jealous of you? You're my brother. I said, a lot of people have siblings that hate them, that are jealous of them, that hope they choke. And some of my development has to be that God planted me in an environment of people that supported me. My brother, my sister, my mother, my father, they all supported me. You can have good seed, but if you've been in bad soil, people who hated you, environments that denied you, education that underserved you, communities that limited you, mentalities that poisoned you. Oh, do you hear what I'm saying? If your soil wasn't right, it doesn't mean that you're not right, but if your soil wasn't right, it's gonna affect how you root and how you grow. And you might grow a little bit. The Bible says you can grow for a while, but then the thorns will choke you out, or the rocks will not have enough soil for your roots to grow. Are you blaming God for something you ought to be blaming the soil for? You cannot take a peach seed and plant it in a teaspoon of dirt and expect it to grow. Though the teaspoon of the dirt is the same size as the peach seed, it will not grow. The seed will only grow when it is planted in something bigger than itself. And I want to know, where are you planted this morning? Are you planted in something bigger than you? Or have you always been planted in teacups, surrounded by little dirt, little resources, small-minded people, narrow, limited places that never let you stretch to reach your capacity? Sometimes you gotta go where the corn is. Do you have the courage to act outwardly on what you see inwardly? Or will you die a dreamer? Will you die on the verge and on the edge and in the land of coulda, woulda, and shoulda? The strong hen rules the roost. Do you have the courage? I'm going to drop something on you. It takes courage to be successful. it is far easier not to be successful. Misery will always have company. Success breeds contempt. If you don't want to make waves, be mediocre. Be normal and fit in. And if you're more concerned about people than you are God, then neutralize everything he put in you. Just fit in with everybody else. Dress like them, walk like them, act like them, eat like them, go where they go, think like they think, do what they do. And once you've neutralized your uniqueness, you don't need courage. It takes courage to be different. It takes courage to go where you've never gone before. For some of you, it took courage to come to this conference. It takes courage to get you outside of the bar. It takes courage to be successful. It takes courage to win. People don't talk about people that don't win. If you win, they're going to talk about you. Do you have the courage to stand there though the storms keep raging and the people get to talking and you stand there and say, I've come too far to turn around? That's your girlfriend and say, do you have the courage? I'm going to say something to you. It takes courage to be exceptional. It takes courage to be wise. It takes courage to be rich. It takes courage to be educated. It takes courage to be knowledgeable, because the moment you do, but you don't talk like you forgot where you came from. Look at you, it takes courage. And I'm just wondering, in this weak, watered down, mediocre society that we live in today, in this reality TV world we live in today, I'm wondering if there's anybody left that's got the courage to say, after all I've been through, and all my ancestors have been through, and all my parents have been through, I didn't come through all of that just to fit in with normalcy. I have the courage to go after my dream. My challenge in our generation is that gradually, through entertainment, through television, through media, through every way possible, we are living in a generation of the dumbing down of ideas, because we have traded effectiveness for busyness. Statistics say, yeah, somebody ought to clap on that. We are busier than any other generation we have seen in the last 300 to 400 years. We are so busy. We are busier than a one-arm wallpaper hanger. We're just busy. You'll get it later. Don't worry about it. It'll hit you in a minute. We are just as busy as we can be, and we think because we're busy, we're effective. But I want you to challenge your schedule for a minute and ask yourself, are you really being effective? Or is your life cluttered with all kinds of stuff that demands you and drains you and taxes you and stops you from being your highest and best self? And are you substituting busyness and all the chaos that goes along with busyness from being effective? Let me tell you, a bunch of scientists got together and they began to do some research, and they begin to determine that 80% of the things we do are busy things that we do in an area that is not effective. That the average person only spends 20% of their time doing the thing that they are really gifted at, created at, passionate about, excited to do, and the rest of it is all the dismal, dumb stuff that we all have to do in order to survive. Just crazy stuff that we're doing. Wonder what would happen if we would go from doing 80% of things that are busy but not effective, and 20% of the things that are really effective, if we would switch those numbers around and only give 20% of our time to the things that we have to do and 80% of our time to the thing that we were created to do. Wonder what would happen to your life. Now think about it a minute. There's a lot of things you could take from me and I could make it. You could take my suit, I got another one. You could take my car, I could get another one. You could take my house, I could get another house. But when you take my time, you have taken something from me that is totally irreplaceable. We take all kind of classes from money management We know how to manage our money. We know how to repair our houses. We're working on our hair and our bodies and all of this kind of stuff. We do everything except the most important thing is to value our time. It takes time to be creative. You were meant to be creative. You were created in the likeness and the image of a creator, and in that likeness and in that image, you have creativity. If you had time, you would be creative. But in the absence of time and with busyness and clutter and the phone going beep, 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 you all got music playing on your phone, all kinds of stuff. And no matter what kind of song you put on it, after a while you hate to hear it, because every time you hear that sound, you know it's somebody else wanting something else from you that's taking you away from what you are gifted and creative to do.
Also, if you want to have unstoppable confidence, self-love, and learn from other Black leaders, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links to join are in the description below.
To be anxious is to have anxiety about something that hadn't even happened yet. So many times you've thrown big ideas at small people. You are allowing weaknesses, mistakes, traumas, who didn't love you, who wasn't there for you, who didn't stand by you, to define you.
When a person picks this book up, what are you wanting them to get from this?
I want them to understand that you are the architect of tomorrow. I based it on the Wright brothers, who had the audacity to believe that they could build something that would take them from the ground to the air. And so they built this, and without a degree, without having financiers.
Oh, you don't need an education to make it? Oh, yeah.
They didn't let any of the things that normally stop us. I don't have the money, I don't have the capital, I don't have the manufacturing. In fact, they built the first plane in a bicycle shop. Wow. The other thing that I think is important to mention, the gravitational pull that the Wright brothers had to break through is a law that whatever goes up must come down. Isaac Newton was absolutely right. But they found a higher law. By pushing the limits on the lower law, they found the law of aerodynamics. Most entrepreneurs, when you start building something, or you're trying to build a marriage, or you're trying to build a child, there is a gravitational pull that says you don't belong up here, come down to where you belong.
Wow.
But if you keep pushing against what's pulling you back, you'll break into another law.
Yeah.
God wants you to be excited about your destiny so that you can endure the process that brings you into promise. Because there is a process before promise. And if you don't have at least a vision of the promise, the process will discourage you. But every time discouragement is trying to get you to give up the process, remember the vision you have of the promise and keep on walking around the wall. Keep on walking around. I'm tired, Lord, but I'm gonna walk around this wall. I'm frustrated, Lord, but I'm gonna walk around this wall. I'm lonely, Lord, but I'm gonna walk around this wall. Ministry's not growing, but I'm gonna walk around this wall. Thought I'd be married by now, but I'm gonna walk around this wall. Lost the first house, applying for the second house, but I'm gonna walk around this wall. Credit's all jacked, Lord, but I'm gonna walk around this wall. I'm trusting you when I can't trace you. I'm gonna walk around this wall. And Lord, I am crazy enough to stand in front of a solid wall and shout as if it had already come down. Let's try that one time. Let's shout as if the walls had already come down.
People think well, that's for those people over there, or when I get myself together, I'm going to live on purpose.
Correct.
But you say it is possible wherever you are right now, Facebook, anywhere in the world watching us, that even if you're in the middle of a disaster,
right,
you can use that disaster for direction.
Absolutely, because it is through the disaster, it is through the adversity that our strength is developed. If everything went the way you wanted it to go, you wouldn't have anything to exercise by. It's a gymnasium of life where you get the workout, the resistance, and you find out things about yourself that you didn't know. I'm stronger than I thought I was. I'm tougher than what I thought I was. I'm more resilient than I thought I was. And that self-respect stops you from being at the mercy of other people to validate you, to make you feel good about who you are.
What is something you'd suggest to add to our daily routine to empower ourselves?
quiet. Quiet. We're too busy. We are so busy that we don't notice that we're not productive. Busy does not mean that you are producing. We are just spinning our wheels. And the great thinking and progress that we've made in this country, steam engines, telephones, automobiles, all types of things, spacecrafts, were done by people who had moments to think. We're moving so fast at breakneck speed. And if we get a free moment, we're on Twitter and Facebook and everything. It's the death of creativity. And I would challenge people to go back to meditation. And if you're spiritual, go back to prayer. If you're not, just go back to just laying still for a moment to clear your head, to hit the reset button. Because we are starting every day with the burdens from yesterday assaulting us in today. Let's put a comma between all of that.
I read somewhere, as an actor, I think, said it, that once a week, he doesn't talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Doesn't talk all day.
Yeah, just peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, just peace. Shut it all down, and you'd be surprised what you can hear when you shut up.
It is not what you think about God that is holding you. It is what you think about you that is holding you. Oh, let me try it on them. It is not what you think about God that is holding you. You got great thoughts about God. It is what you think about you that keeps bringing you back down to playing the same role in the same movie over and over again. You will not accept God's script. God has a script for you to go by. You will not accept God's script because you are allowing weaknesses, mistakes, traumas, who didn't love you, who wasn't there for you, who didn't stand by you, to define you, and you are letting the enemy script you for the life Jesus died to give you.
Have you franchised what works in your life? That's what the second step is. So many people become fruitful and they say, this is working and I've done this and I've accomplished this, but I'm not fulfilled at it anymore and I'm frustrated and I wonder why I feel the way I do. The reason you do, because you haven't taken the second step. Once it works in a microcosm, in a controlled environment, in this city or that neighborhood or this place, you want to then multiply that which is fruitful. You want to terminate that which is not.
I talk, you'd be surprised. I talk a lot when I'm on stage. I'm quiet when I'm at home. I'm very quiet when I'm at home. I tend to be a very quiet person. You got to balance. You can't just be rattling all the time. It drives me crazy when people talk too much. It drives me crazy when they just go on and on and on and on because, see, I pay attention. And if you're not going anywhere with this, it drives me crazy. One of the strengths of preaching is outline. Because the outline gives the listener something to follow that has structure. When you're all over the place, everything you're saying may be true, but because your message has no focus, it becomes hard to follow. It's hard to follow somebody who doesn't have focus. Where are we going with this? What is the point? What are you talking about? Get to the point. What is this about? And for a while you'll listen because you're trying to see if it has structure. And when you figure out that they're just talking and it has no relevance, you go.
If you didn't get a good job, you have to create a good job.
Come on.
Yeah, you have to create a job.
Yeah.
You have to carve out a niche in the earth for yourself and be creative. You must realize that we were created by a creator who created us in his likeness and in his image. And if our creator is a creator, then I have to be creative. Somewhere down inside of every single solitary person in this room is creativity, whether you tap into it or not. We were not meant to follow a marching band and follow it behind other people's creativity and not discover our own. You have creativity, you have passion, and you have purpose, and giving people the freedom and the wherewithal to build that. I suddenly realized when I sat down to write this book that everything I ever experienced, I had to build from the ground up. I never inherited anything. I mean, my father gave me a watch.
and and I appreciate it. And you know, my parents weren't so much into what they left to you, but they were masterful at what they left in you. I came to deliver a message to every person in this room who's had a struggle, who's had some pains, who's had some tests, who's got some creative ideas, but you've gone through some really tough stuff. Let me tell you something, the stuff you've been through, don't pay it any attention. It is just a sign that the baby is coming. You're on the verge of birthing. You're on the verge of birthing. You're on the verge of birthing. You're about to give birth. I want you to touch everybody you can reach and tell them the baby is coming. 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 You don't want to leave me now. The baby is coming. You don't want to walk out on me now. The baby is coming. I haven't had my best idea yet. I haven't had my most creative moment yet. I haven't produced my dream yet. I don't care whether you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. There's something down inside of you that's still kicking inside of you that wants to get out, and it wants to live. It wants to live. The whole reason you're here today is because there's something in you that needs to be fed, that needs to be stirred, that needs to be electrified, that needs to be illuminated. There's something down inside of you crying, let me out! Let me out! Make some noise in this place! Yes, yes, yes! We are waiting on your water to break and for you to give birth to the greatest idea you have ever had. Make some noise in this place. Anybody who left you is going to miss it. They're going to miss it. They're going to miss the greatest part of you, the greatest part of your destiny, the greatest part of your creativity. It took everything you went through yesterday to get you ready for what you are about to do today. You are standing on the verge of a great awakening, or you wouldn't be here. If I'm talking to you, make some noise in this place. Businesses in you, companies in you, concepts in you, books to be written, paintings to be drawn, concepts to be birthed, ideas, creative concepts. There's something that you could do, that you could think in your life that would radically change your life. Somebody could take the hand you've been dealt and win with it. Same circumstances, same ideas. They would do it through what they thought about your life. But we don't need somebody, because we got you. We got you. You're the one. You are the one. I want you to join hands with somebody for just a minute. I'm telling you right now, if you are going to birth your dream, your calling, your passion, and the second half of your life, you can't draw back when life gets tough. You've got to stand up to it and push. Get that person by the hand, because there's something inside of them that is about to happen. Squeeze their hand. And when I count to 3, I want every man and every woman that's got a concept, that's got an idea, I want you to push with all of your might until dreams and concepts and ideas start to birth out of you in the middle of the night. You're going to need pens and pads by your bed tonight, because you're going to have to get up in the middle of the night and start writing down all the stuff that's going to start coming out of your spirit when this day is ready. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. If you push it, you can have it. God bless you. It's yours for the taking. The people people who became the most successful in our society are people who broke the rules. You know, there was no presidents for 24-hour news cycles until Ted Turner did it. There's so many people who got out of the box. Look at Apple and the birth of the whole notion of Apple, or Nike, I talk about in the book, and the birthing of that corporation, how they did something with the tennis shoe that had never been done before. If you only base your decisions on empirical data, you can only repeat what somebody else already did. If you follow your instincts and your own God-given creativity, we can go where we have not been before.
Be strong and very courageous. Be strong and very courageous. Be strong and be of good courage. Be strong and possess the land. Because God knows that for what you're going to do, it is not by outer strength. You understand? You understand. See, help me preach this thing this morning, girl. It's inner strength. So my fourth point is you got to have inner strength for this fight. It's not your outer strength. It's not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. So you got to have that gut strength, that belly strength, that devil-defying come hell or high water strength, that roll me out in front of them and I'll preach from a chair strength, that tenacity to take a licking and keep on ticking, that inner strength that when I can't do as I would, I'm going to do as I can, but I'm not going to stop doing. To the best of my ability, I'm going to stretch and go shaha. Hallelujah! Be strong! Strong. 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 Since we're talking about business, we're talking about money, you can't be tribal and be a global thinker at the same time. The reason money is called currency is that it needs to be able to flow. And the issue is, do you have a vision that flows beyond people who look like you, dress like you, and vote like you? And if you're going to do business, you can't do segregated business and do it well. If you've got a product that you believe in, or a message that you believe in, or a movie that you believe in, or whatever it is, you want to reach the broadest amount of people. And most people think tribally. All of their relationships, their contacts, their associates are tribal, and you block the ability to succeed when you block the ability to communicate beyond your tribe. Life demands that you pick up the pace. If you don't pick up the pace, you're going to be left behind. I'm amazed at the people that lack the flexibility to pick up the pace. They just get in a rut. I stroll down here and I'm going to stroll back. I'm going to stroll over here. I'm going to stroll over there. One of the most amazing things about the disaster at Malaysia is that when it happened, everybody had to pick up the pace. All the news media had to pick up the pace. They were booking night flights and flying over here and flying over there. Somebody had to work overtime, won't be home for 3 days, typing in the middle of the night, research going on, because when something happens, everybody got to pick up the pace. That's why I can't deal with people who cannot pick up the pace. Don't be strolling when I got a 911 on you. I need people who can pick up the pace. Slap your neighbor and say, pick up the pace. Something is about to happen. Pick up the pace, something is about to happen. Pick up the pace, something is about to happen. Pick up the pace, something is about to happen. Pick up the pace, something is about to happen. Pick up the pace, something is about to happen. I came to tell the young people, pick up the pace, pick up the pace, pick up the pace. Something is about to happen. The danger of low expectations. I would rather aim for the stars and not hit them than to not aim at all. I would rather go after it and not get it than not go after it at all. I'd rather try and fail than not try at all. I don't want to live with the idea, wonder what would have happened had I done more with my life. I'm going to go for it, come hell or high water. I'm going after my destiny. Touch your neighbor and say, run. You got to run after your destiny. You can't stroll after your destiny. You can't walk after your destiny. You got to run. Somebody holler, run.
gotta run. You gotta run. You gotta run. You can't just wake up in the morning, let me see what's gonna happen today. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna wear. I don't know what I'm gonna cook. I don't know where I'm gonna go. I just woke up. Oh, you should stay in the bed. Give the day to somebody who's gonna run after their destiny. Give the day to somebody who has a plan, who has a strategy, because success is never an accident. And if you don't want it, get out of my way. Because there are some people who want to do something with their life, who will run. So many times you have a modicum of talent in an area, maybe just enough talent to appreciate people who are really called to that area. It doesn't mean that you need to necessarily go out and do that thing. You must understand that the purpose is an underlying chemistry that makes you live your life. It may not be, you may not have a strong talent. Let me give an example because I'm messing mine up. Let me give you an example. I have talent as a musician. I can play the piano. Not well enough to be maestro, but I have a modicum of talent in that area, but that was not my purpose. But many times we start working in an area that we have talent, but it's not our purpose. I tell my kids this, you may start out doing something that is not the thing you were created to do. It may only be the thing that leads to the thing you were created to do. You understand what I'm saying?
I got you.
So you don't stop at where you are as if it were the destination, when in fact, in reality, it may be the transportation that brings you into that thing you were created to. The fifth thing that I really ascribe to is balance work with play. You can't do all of either one and be successful. And to those whom much is given, much is required. And if you work really hard and you're a really diligent person, make sure that you do some play to balance your life out. If you play real hard but you don't work very much, you're going to be fun, but you're going to be hungry. You know what I'm saying? You got to balance work with play. You have to balance that with your children. If you're always a disciplinarian, your daddy going to get you when you get home. I don't want to always be the police in the house.
Yeah.
I want to be the fun guy sometimes. Balancing work with play called this not only for you to be holistic, but for people to get a better perspective of who you are. I get on my Instagram and I put crazy stuff. My kids die. Just yesterday, I put me sweating in the gym saying they said it's going to be fun, but it hadn't gotten fun yet. You know, to let people know that everything is not serious every day. That's too much pressure. We've got way too much pressure on us to be the people we were created to be. Listen clearly. I want to pronounce a benediction on every grieving, weeping, depressed, lonely, frustrated, tired spirit. Your period of mourning is over. Touch your girlfriend, your sister girl, your cousin, or Meemaw and tell her I cried my last tear yesterday. 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 You can send them flowers back. You can give that sympathy card back. You can stop looking at me all pitiful. You can stop seeing me as charity. I got my strength back. I got my fight back. I got my drive back. My focus back. Glory to God. I'm forgetting those things which are behind and reaching to those things which are before. I got some press down in me. Yeah, shake your sister girl. Say, I got some press in me. That's how I got in here tonight. I got some press down in me. That's why I'm watching on television. I got some press down in me. I got some fight in me. If you don't believe I got some press in me, look back in my history and ask the folk who me. Ask the people who said I would never make it. I got some press in me. I made it without them. I made it in spite. Make relationships count. Making your relationships count, because everything is about relationships. First of all, your relationship with God. That's a very important thing to have, because as long as you know that there's somebody in charge, you don't have to bear the brunt of the responsibility and the weight of what's going on in your life. Yeah. You can talk to the boss. Okay. Yeah. Number two, enjoy your relationship with yourself. If you don't like you, it makes it hard for me to like you. Because people, when you walk into their atmosphere, they draw you into the cosmos of their own drama. And if they're full of drama without you, when you come in, you become caught up in the cyclone of their drama.
Yeah.
Enjoy your relationship with yourself. And then anybody else who comes in, they enter into a party you already started. You understand?
Yeah.
And then the relationship with your kids, the relationship with your spouse, the relationship with your friends, taking time to enjoy the relationships, because there is no fruit. Nature teaches us that there is no fruit without relationships. You cannot be fruitful by yourself in business, in home, in life, in church. I don't care what it is. You are no more than the relationships you surround yourself with, and make sure that those are good ones.
You call comfort in your book a cage.
Comfort is a cage. We used to be pioneers. That's how the country was settled. And we stopped pioneering new things. We stay where it's comfortable. We play where it's safe. We don't really get out into the wild of the possibilities. We stay in the confined cage of that is tangible and touchable, 9 to 5, and that's it. But we need more creativity, and we need to follow our instincts. Now, without that, you may make some money, but you won't find fulfillment. Always go to something bigger than yourself. I'm wondering if you've been defeated because you have been giving yourself wholly to something that was too small to hold you. Have you thrust yourself into a glass of water?
Yes, sir.
Have you leaped off the diving board into a cereal bowl person? Are you not guilty of immersing yourself into things that were too small to hold your vision? Oh my God, this is so good I'm gonna get the CD myself. Jesus sent him to throw himself into something that was bigger than his condition. And he had to go to get to it. He had to get out of his comfort zone. My problem is so many times you've thrown big ideas at small people. You've given big commitment to cereal bowl people. And you're trying to get your sight back from a source that's too small to support what you're willing to put in. Is your investment bigger than the bank? You should see the way you're looking at me. Is the reason you keep being disappointed by people is that you have wholly thrown yourself into something that was too small. Jesus sends him to something that is bigger than himself so he can wash his eye. Are you trying to take a bath in a bowl? David was a shepherd boy out there trying to take care of the sheep and didn't have nothing to work with. And a lion came against him and he took a rag and said, this is the kind of stuff you make to fight back with. When you don't have nothing to fight with. Have you ever gotten to a fight and you didn't have nothing to fight with, but you took what you had and you said, such as I have, I'm not gonna let you take my stuff, my job, my opportunity, my life, my family's legacy. You're after my family's legacy. I'm not gonna let you do it. And even though I don't have nothing fancy to fight with, like a degree or like $1 million or like a bunch of friends, but I'm gonna roll up what I got and I'm gonna throw it at you. You kill the lion and kill the bear with this rag. This rag, old dirty rag, had thrown rocks at everything that ever come against you. If you live long enough, a lot of stuff will come against you. And you gotta throw what you got at it. You can't throw what you wish you had. You can't throw what your neighbor had. You gotta throw what you got at it. That's what separates the men from the boys, because you got to throw what you got at it. If you don't tell me that you want something if you're not willing to throw what you got at it. Number one, you have to own your own happiness. Take it away from other people demanding that they make you happy. Your kids are not going to make you happy. Your spouse is not going to make you happy. A big house is not going to make you happy. Own your own happiness and be responsible for doing those things that bring joy into your own heart, independently of life and people and money and all of that stuff.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily give you a happiness. You have to take responsibility of that peace and that joy that lives inside of your heart and not inside of your stuff. When I was in South Africa on a safari, I was blessed to be on a safari after I had taught for a group of black billionaires a seminar about faith and finances. And they detained me over and gave me the privilege of staying out at J. Paul Getty's place out there in the middle of the jungle somewhere, and to go on a safari with my son. It was amazing. So there I am in between a zoologist who is giving me all of this information about all the animals, their habitats, their mating practices, how they live, how they operate, and sitting on the edge of the Jeep with a shotgun to protect us. We weren't hunting, we were just watching, was a Zulu. The Zulu says nothing at all. The zoologist explains all the animals, and we visit all the different places and see a lot of the animals, but we had not found the elephant. He explained the elephant, but he could not find him. Finally, the Zulu stood up and he put his finger in the air and he pointed up. He said, "The elephant is over there." When he said it to me, my head exploded, Larry. It exploded because all of a sudden I realized I'm sitting between intellect and instinct. Mm-hmm. Intellect can describe it, but only instinct can find it. And from the premise of that ideology, I begin to go back through all of my life and begin to see not only me, but others, how if they position themselves between intellect and instinct and know when to yield to which one, that next big thing, whether it's an elephant, an entrepreneurial pursuit, or raising a family, it is simply over there if you follow your instinct.
To be anxious is to have anxiety about something that hadn't even happened yet. Some of you are so worried by the threat of trouble. You're not in trouble, it's just that trouble has threatened you. And the threat of what might happen, what could happen, is wearing you down. Half of the things that you thought were going to happen never did happen. But if you allow those thoughts to dwell in your mind, it will succeed at robbing you of your peace, robbing you of your joy, robbing you of your life, just because you thought yourself into a nervous breakdown. You thought yourself into depression. You thought yourself into defeatism. The mind is the battleground. The fight is in your mind. So I want to challenge you to waste no more effort wrestling with other people. I never wanted to be famous. I prayed to be effective.
Wow.
Yeah, I prayed to be effective.
And you were, and you are.
You know, Paul, I found out that if you are effective, effective will bring fame.
Wow.
Fame is not anything to be, fame is not anything to aspire toward. It is something that you endure. Yeah, it's something that you endure. Wow. Fame robs you of something that money cannot buy. Normalcy, privacy, seclusion, which is a healthy part of mental health, to be able to have sabbaticals away from crowds. Even Jesus escaped crowds at times to renew himself. So to all of you that might be out there thinking, you know, God make me famous, change that prayer today. It's far better to be effective. And I tell people all the time, everybody famous isn't great, and everybody great isn't famous. A lot of people are afraid to build from the ground up because we are shown instant success.
Yes.
Overnight wonders.
Yes.
Somebody put something on YouTube and they exploded and now they're famous. And then we got people who are famous for being famous. It used to be you were famous because you did something. Now you're just famous. You're just famous. Glory to God. And we got everybody who wants to walk around and just be famous. But the first thing God said wasn't be famous, it was be fruitful.
Right.
Be fruitful.
Yes.
And if being fruitful makes you famous, then that's okay. As a young boy, I was enthralled by airplanes and the wonder of whether I would ever embark on a flight that would carry me to new, exciting adventures and a life of limitless possibilities. I came to know I had the power within me to soar, and that has made all the difference in my life.
Flying for the first time is a lot like creating your own business, launching a startup, or establishing a non-for-profit organization. Both require a leap of faith and a willingness to take a journey of unexpected variables. In other words, both require a little bit of crazy and a whole lot of courage. Don't let fear hold you back from doing what you truly love. Commit to your vision and be the CEO of your future. Enjoy the journey, not the destination. A lot of us delay our happiness. When I get to this level, when I get my degree, when I get the kids, when I get married, I'm going to be happy. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the whole step, the whole process. Every day that you get up to strive for whatever it is you're after. You know, I'm a goal-oriented guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you don't celebrate when you get to the finish line. Celebrate all along the way. Celebrate all along the way.
Now, I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video? And write down in the comments below when you're going to take action on that takeaway this week. When you schedule in what day, what time, and what place you're going to take action, you have a 91% chance of actually following through, compared to just 35% if you just got motivated but never created a plan. And when you share your plan and have accountability, you give yourself an even higher chance of following through. So in the comments below, write down your single biggest takeaway as well as your specific plan of action, because I want to celebrate with you.
Let's talk about the eagles for a minute, because the mother eagle, after sitting on the eggs, protecting it with her life until they hatch, and going out and swimming and attacking prey and bringing back food until they grow, then turns around, the same beak that fed them and the same body that warms them, takes them out to cliffs and throws them over the edge. It is not that she has turned against her children, but she knows that they will never find their wings in safety. The eaglet learns to fly by confronting its scary place. And it's not even trying to fly. It's falling and flapping and thinking mama is crazy. I'm calling Child Protective Services. I gotta get out of this. But in the process of falling and flapping and falling and flapping and falling and flapping and flapping and flapping and flapping and flapping and flapping.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.